So welcome back everyone from your dinner break. I hope you had good food. I had donuts, so can't argue with a couple of overly sugary, fingers covered in jam donuts. But I wasn't here for the game before dinner, but it looks like Paul managed to squeak out another game. So he is now leading by 5-3. Sorry, behind by 5-3. Piotr's leading by 5-3. I'll get that right eventually.
Yeah, I did see that final game before dinner. It was probably the best game of the match so far. Piotr started with 2 bonuses. He went 120 up, but Paul rallied to eventually win 520 to 480 or thereabouts.
So wow, I feel bad that I missed that game.
Yeah, it's certainly worth watching again if you get the chance.
No doubt. But
anyway, it's Paul to start. He trails 5-3 in this best of 19 affair, and he has EHIINOT. Things like boy or hioi maybe. There isn't anything doubling the H.
And ideally, you want to unduplicate the I's and play off one of the O's as well.
Yeah. So yeah, hoi or something. Look pretty good. And that's what he's played. In the meantime, Piotr's got a promising rack. He's got ADEORSX. He's got simple plays with the X. He's playing OX immediately for 36 next to hoi, keeping the very strong ADERS. If there's no bonus, then can't really argue with that.
Yeah, it's quite defensive though, but it doesn't really make a difference at this point. There's only 5 tiles on the board.
Yeah. And yes, Quackle Suggest Docs is the best play there. Paul has drawn FHT to go with EINT. Slightly clunky with the F and the H together. He'll probably play something hooking OO, I would think. So fit, maybe. Or FEH. Neither of them score that well, though.
Yeah, it's not possible to play many words here.
No, he could play thief next to hoi, making HE and OOF, which looks pretty good. The score reasonably well.
Depends how many tiles you want to play at this point, and how much you can play as well.
Yeah, he's hampered by the fact that he can't really score all that much, although the board's already not that good for scoring, even after 1 move each. I think either fit or thief here, depending on how many tiles you feel like playing.
It's not like there's much to think about on this kind of board either. It's right at the start of the game. You've really got like only a handful of choices anyway.
Yeah, I think I might play thief myself, but it's purely a question of taste. And Paul's chosen the other option. He's gone for fit.
This board is looking more blocked by the second.
Yes, it's very blocked already. There is a lane next to the FI of fit. And hoi does take an S now, so there's that as well. But already it's quite restrictive, and scoring isn't going to be easy for the next few turns or so.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here wondering if any of Piotr's bonuses actually play.
Well, there's only 2 7s there. There's Endears and Dinas, but neither of those fit.
Because of fit. They don't fit because of fit.
Indeed, how ironic. So yeah, I don't think it makes anything with the H. So surprisingly, I don't think he can bonus this turn.
He can bonus this turn. There's a disconnected 9.
Oh, it's through the IH, right.
Yes.
Let's see if we can see it. Ooh.
Piotr has seen some cracking plays this best final as well. He has played he played Dilation in one of the earlier games for about 80 points, making Vexed and some other 2-letter words.
Yes.
He spotted a 9 timer as well, casified. He's played very well as it is, and
he has made some great plays, certainly.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he spot this, but I think it's quite easy to miss. You know, especially as he might be focusing on the 7s here.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that goes in front of OX is the S, so is it something like Disharine?
I thought the N went in front of the OX as well.
Oh, sorry. Oh, of course, in Hurst, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Got there in the end.
Hurst, yeah.
Yeah. That's
It's amazing how much you can have like a mental block on some things sometimes.
Yeah. Because if you think immediately, oh, it's between the I and the H, it's got to be the S. That's the obvious thing, but the N is not intuitive at all. That would be a great play if he can see it, but he may well miss it.
I wouldn't be surprised if he missed it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would miss it. I think I would have as well. Didn't get it without a lot of clues there.
Well, it's one thing to know that a bonus is possible. It's another thing to see it. And in a real game, of course, we don't know that bonuses are possible most of the time. We try to look for them anyway, but it's hard to convince yourself to look for them when you're not really sure they're there. So it looks like he's gone for Ned.
Ned set up the S, so he has missed in Hurst.
Not sure if you could call it a miss, but there we go.
I count them as misses. I am my own worst critic, really. But yeah, I count all misses as misses, even if I don't know it.
It's still pretty defensive, though, as a play as well. It's quite... DI doesn't have front hooks. Ned only has S in front.
Yes. It does mean that Paul can't play thinner that he's drawn. So he might play something like Hinter next to Ned for the score.
Yeah, and that's probably the best scoring play as well.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the best scoring play, because, as I said, scoring is already very hard on this board.
And if he does play Hinter, hints, Piotr's going to have another 9 timer.
Right, he's drawn NEV, so yeah, reshaven. And it looks like Paul's going to play it. Wow. But
how much of a
luck
box can he get?
Yeah, he misses the 9 and he gets the big 9 timer, having missed 9 through the disconnected letters. So it's going to work out for him very nicely indeed if he sees it.
Now it's just a case of patiently waiting for Piotr to play another 9 timer. He's S.
He has seen it, yeah.
Is he going to take some time to make sure he's actually seen it, or is he just going to throw it down on the board?
I can't imagine he might just be thinking if it really is a word.
Like what I've just done with Paul's rack. I've just typed something into Zarf, like, yeah, let's just put these letters together to make a sensible word, and it is actually a word.
Paul does have 2 inks through the H, but that's going to get blocked, of course, if he does play reshaven. Or even if he doesn't play reshaven, he's still going to score off the H, you would think. So,
yeah, I mean, it's possible he lined up Haven.
He does have Wickens as well. I had to check that. I wasn't 100% sure of it. But yeah, Wickens does fit next to Hoy.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's going to get a bonus. Piotr's not played reshaven. Maybe he's not sure.
I mean, he's a bloke, isn't he? He probably has to reshave his beard all the time.
I expect so. It does sound a bit odd if you're not completely sure of it. Reshaven.
I'm not sure why he's looking for something else. I was always told when I was younger that if you see a 9-timer, no matter how implausible it is, you should play it because you're talking like 140 points here. You should always play a 9-timer, given the opportunity.
Yeah, it's probably reasonable advice some of the time. He'll be aware that the eyes of the world are on him at the moment. Doesn't want to make a mistake. Doesn't want to play a silly phony and give away the initiative to Paul.
We've had sillier phonies on my stream. I heard some scribbling, so maybe he's actually written it down because he's just doubting himself now.
Yeah.
No!
Right.
Stop! Go backwards. No! How dare he do this? He may be thinking. He's thinking. No. No, just leave them there and put the rest of it in front.
Reminds me of the time I played Helio in a game, Helio, and I kept DOR in that order on my rack, and Heliodor would have played. And I did know it, I just didn't think of it. Wasn't as expensive as this, but...
No! 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 He's done it!
Oh,
no!
He's played it.
How dare he!
Oh.
That could be the costliest miss of this best final.
We might want to turn off the microphone after this game once we tell him that reshaven is actually a word, because I expect the air will turn blue. And will Paul see Wiccans?
I think he lined up Chewinks.
He did line up Chewinks, yeah.
I think we can all see Wiccans just as a sensible, air quotes, phony 7. Because I tend to like to make up 7-letter words to try and, like, help me remember valid words better.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I saw this rack. And so I'm sure a lot of people will see the word. They just won't realise it's actually a word.
Yeah, because Wiccan does sound like an adjective, so it's easy to think, oh, it can't possibly take an S if you don't actually know the word. If he doesn't see it, what can he do? And he can just play Wiccan if he's sure of it. He can drop the C between the DIH and make Cox. That's only one tile, but it does score pretty well.
Does look like, though, if you don't see Wiccans, there's not much else, really.
No. Although he can put the K on Hoy to make Hoik, although he can't score a great deal with that. Can't triple the W or the K or the C by doing that.
I don't even know what I would try and do here. It's like, okay, I'll get rid of 2 of CKW. Then what do I do?
Yeah, it's hard to suggest plays if you don't see or you're not sure of Wiccan or even Wiccan.
Yeah, it's one of those scenarios where the best play is something you kind of have to see, and if you don't see it, you're like completely stuck for an alternative.
Yes. Could play Kiwi or something like that, or Wiki, if you don't see Wiccans.
Just don't like opening up the triple lane.
No, or wink, although that's quite aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, the other option is playing something down next to Hoy, but like something less awesome than Wickham's. Like, I don't know. Wince, maybe? I suppose Wince might be the most, the least aggressive version.
Oh. He's played Uke, which I'd not considered, but yeah, quite a few misses already in this game. They're perhaps getting a bit tired now, having been playing most of the day. This is the 9th game, after all.
Maybe they ate too much food and now they're all sleepy.
Yes, maybe. Eating food can do that. Yeah, Senna was pretty high quality early on, but standards are dipping a bit now with the onset of the day. Piotr's drawn he and the white to go with as the RS keeps. I don't think there's a 7 there. Probably no 8s either, with the floaters available to him.
Isn't the H and the N the only floaters, really? The K is a bit of an awkward floater as well.
It is.
But yeah, no 7s. 4 8s with the right floaters, but none on this board.
4, right, okay.
So we're talking a Protesi 8 here.
Asperity?
Yep.
Ooh, Pyrexia is also one. You said there were 4.
Pyrexia's is cool because it has an A front hook.
Yes, it does.
Pyrexia's.
Remember that. You said there were 4 altogether.
2 more.
We've had T, we've had X. Vespieri is good, I think.
Yep, Vespieri is good. As Piotr plunks down Pinery.
Yeah. He could have just played off AY and OX, as Quackle was pointing out, which keeps Spire, which is a strong keep. Pinery is fine, though. It does score well.
And the last 8, before you agonise over this for a while, Sprayer.
Oh, Sprayer, yes. Probably got all the hard ones and missed the easy one.
Don't worry, everyone's like that. At least I am.
In the meantime,
yeah.
Paul has drawn the other W and another N, so that's a bit awkward for him.
He's almost got Wickens again, but he's just got an N instead of a K.
Indeed, very similar at the last turn. So, 2 N's do hamper him a bit here. He might just have to burn the S and play wins next to Hoy. He is 30 behind, so he perhaps won't like doing that, but it's hard for him to score otherwise.
I suppose as well, the S isn't really useful on this board, unless you could start a bonus with it. So,
yeah, the Hoys or XIS or Ukes, yeah.
So,
that is
in some way, with 3 S's left, 2 blanks, he shouldn't be too upset with having to burn his S.
I think he's got to do it to score anything. He doesn't want to fall too far behind.
He should be like 100 points behind right now if all the right words were played.
He should be dead by now already, basically, but for the missing of reshaven by Piotr.
What does Wesper rule say about killing your opponent? Is that allowed?
I imagine it's frowned upon. I don't think there's any provision for it, but I'd be surprised if that was sanctioned anyway.
My parents have always been like, "Oh, what happens if your opponent like has a heart attack in the middle of the game and they're just dead? Like, what do you do?"
Claim we win on time, I suppose.
Yeah.
Wait for that time to run out.
Don't worry, we'd actually call an ambulance, but like hypothetically, like.
Yeah, there's a few gaps in the Wesper rules. I guess that's one of them. Paul has played wins, which draws him level. It's probably the best play, although it does square off the bottom right of the board, so we're not going to go down there anytime soon. So the board's going to be restricted to the upper half and possibly the bottom left later on if someone hooks Ox or Treff later on.
The board looks like some kind of hangman harp thing right now, or just some like weirdly distorted letter E.
Yeah, if you squint a bit, yeah.
Well, I'm not wearing my glasses, so that probably explains it.
Well, neither am I. I'm wearing contact lenses now, which are much better. Piotr has drawn to his AS. He's drawn AGMRO. We probably want to put off both A's because there's only one on the board at the moment, so he could easily end up drawing more. Is Margot so good?
Yes, it is.
Right.
Doesn't go.
No.
How many times have we said you've got a bonus and it doesn't fit?
Yeah.
Correct floaters.
It did fit prior to Paul playing wins, making Oxo and Hoys, but he's playing Ogam under Uke, which looks reasonable. It does make it easy for Paul to score, though.
Provided he has the right letters, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always how you think about it, isn't it? It will give your opponent a great opportunity to score, but that's so dependent on them having the right letters. And more often than not, when my opponents do that, I have nothing. And then I'm just like, why did you have to do that while I had this awful rack?
Yeah, it's quite awkward. But it does make it possible for your opponent just to play 3 tiles under Ogam, making like KOD or something, or Tom, score 30 and keep it tight. But anyway, Paul has drawn CEN. He has drawn another F. He now has AACENSU.
He's lined up Orn, which fits nicely directly under Ogam, making 4 other words, which looks like it'll be the best. I'm not seeing much else that fits under there, and the longest words he has on his rack, not using the S, are only 4 letters long.
Yeah.
It's 26 points, nothing to be sniffed at. I mean, the S also still isn't useful on this board, so you could also burn off the C, the U, and the S and duplicate your A's at the same time by playing cores. But
or cause I as he's lined up, or causa. Quite reasonable too. Usans, yeah, no gums. He's playing Orn, which scores pretty well.
26.
Yeah.
Give him a marginal lead.
Not sure if Orn takes an S though.
I'm pretty sure it does.
Right.
Wait, I have lists. Yes, it does.
Okay. So he can hook his S there later on. That puts him slightly ahead. Piotr has drawn CGOT to go with his ARS. C and G generally don't go that well together. And again, he's going to find it tricky to score. Although maybe he can fit in something. You could play O-tick in the top left, making op, TI, and so on. So he's keeping the G, which he probably would rather not do. Paul's drawn the first blank in the meantime. He's got scopular, I think. Probably other things as well.
Cupolas, I think. I'm making that one.
Yeah, cupolas, yeah, and scopular and copulas as well. The trio. But he's not on turn, it's Piotr on turn. Yeah, it's not that easy for him to score. He can play tag under Orn as he's got lined up, which scores something and keeps CORS, which is quite pleasant. And he's actually playing that. Treasures of the G.
Yeah, if the board was more open, Piotr would have quite a few 8s here, but the board is not open, and Piotr has no 8s.
No. Quackle suggests tag is best statically, which seems fair. Paul with the blank now. He said he had scopula, cupolas, and scopulas.
And 2 more 7s.
There's 2 more, right?
Yeah.
Up coast.
Yep.
1 more.
I would find it hilarious here if Paul played the phony that Piotr did earlier, copper. That would be funny.
Yes, copper. I think you'll remember that it's not a word, though.
What a shame.
Not seeing the last 7. What is it?
Opacious.
Oh, opacious, right, yes. Neither of those fit, though, up coast or opacious. I think scopula is the only one that fits.
I think so too.
Make tags. And it looks like he has seen it.
Yeah, scopula has 2 back hooks, E and S.
Yes. Piotr's got one of those S's. He needs the U for scrofula, but he's not going to get it in the right place. Actually, tag has made it ensure that scopula will score a few more because C is getting tripled. That's quite handy for Paul. And he is playing it a good spot because it's not that easy to see that word. And Quackle says it is the only bonus that plays, so good find.
71 L.
So that gives Paul a 52-point lead. Piotr has drawn AFL to go with CORS. So U's not in the right place for scrofula. There's no E for al fresco. There's probably other 8s he can play with that as well, but
Just a K.
a K. Force slack, yeah.
Yep, that's it.
And Paul's drawn sledged.
How appropriate for winter.
Yes. Which will go forming scopuli if he knows it. Probably will. And it may not get blocked. Unless Piotr plays afros or something, making AA. He'll probably play something like 4 or 4 next to scopula, I would think.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be what gets played. So you don't want to burn the S in this case.
No.
And, I mean, ideally you'd want to get rid of another consonant, but the best kind of parallel you can get looks like fora. Or pharaoh, or...
Or pharaoh, yes.
It's just because the only consonant he has that goes after that U is the R, and that's kind of limiting.
This is very limiting.
And the
indeed.
C just doesn't work in 2-letter words either. And
No.
because he doesn't want to burn the S, he's only got 5 tiles to play with anyway.
He can play folic above binary. That scores very well, 35, and keeps ARS. But he's playing next to scopula. He's playing 4.
Yeah, keep the extra vowel.
Yeah.
Leave ALCS, the American League Championship Series, for baseball fans.
Here comes sledge from Paul.
Yeah, maybe Piotr will want to take a sledgehammer to this game afterwards.
Well, it's his own fault. He could have played reshaven and none of this would have happened.
Yeah, if only he knew that, Benjamin.
Yeah. Now he's drawn the Q, so he's in trouble now. Board's not great for bonuses. Gonna have to waste a turn playing off the Q.
Yeah, 22 points, and then...
Yeah, if you can play it next to the eyes of Pioneer and Hinter, so we can at least get something for it. But Paul will use that time to block up the 7 line above Sledged, and it's going to be very hard for Piotr to come back after that. Because QI does block that floating P. Well, it doesn't block it completely. He can play an 8 starting with it, but that's going to mean he's not going to score much. He could draw par close or pole acres or something, but
Here comes the other blank.
he does. So this one's looking like it's all over already. Don't see any bonuses immediately. He could play putts off the P of Pinery.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to play something through the E of Sledge just to block up, so MZ or MEZE or Luz. Luz is quite restrictive, actually. That looks pretty good.
It does restrict the bonuses to having end in a vowel.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to either end a bonus in a Y or O off of Oxy or OS, or have one off the P, or make one have Tref, or through the D of Sledged. Or through the Z, even.
Or the Z, yes, but don't worry about the floating Z.
Well, we talked about earlier how we needed floating power tiles. We needed a J and a Q. I think there was actually a floating X in a previous game. And now Paul needs another floating Q to have his bonus.
That's quite, or the I.
Yeah, there's another 8.
He's playing Luz, yeah.
Yeah, another potential 8, Zerumbet.
So what, sorry?
ZERUMBET. That was the other 8.
I've never heard of that. That's a great word. But he has played Luz. I think that's the best play. And Piotr's probably dead now. He has drawn a T, so he's got Carlets and Scrotal and things like that. But they don't fit. Crotals as well, of course. I've forgotten about that.
Just looking at the definition of Zerumbet.
Sounds African or something.
I think it's, in a tropical country, Zingiber Zerumbet, or Awapuhi, also known as bitter ginger or shampoo ginger, or pine cone ginger, is a vigorous species of the ginger family. Who'd have thunk that? With leafy stems growing to about 1.2 meters tall, found in many tropical countries.
Very nice.
We need to learn our ginger stuff.
Yeah. Luz did block locators. Crotala's doesn't quite fit. Paul does have monetized with that Z. He wants to play that.
And you said don't worry about that floating Z.
Yes.
It can only benefit him.
Yeah, more or less, yeah. He can play things like 1 time above Sledged as well. So I imagine he's going to bonus next turn.
We still don't have time zone in our dictionary.
No, slightly odd. I guess it's still hyphenated or something.
2 words, maybe.
Yeah, or 2 words. Yeah, it's hard to suggest anything for Piotr here because he needs to score and open it up, but he can't really do both.
Yeah, it's almost impossible on this board. Especially with holding the C and kind of having to play the C as well. It's not much of an option.
No. He's playing 0 next to Luz, which does score something. Which Crackle says statically is the best play. It's pretty reasonable, but it will be over after the next move. Ball sees 1 time. So I imagine he will.
I mean, the only thing 0 does block is the floating Z. And, you can't really be too bothered about that. So I guess in a way, at least he didn't close things up.
Yeah, it does block the placing E, but it was fairly restricted anyway. E of sledged. Paul has seen one time he's got it lined up.
Oh, come on, Paul. Play the 9 through the ZO.
Is there a 9 through ZO?
Of course there is. I wouldn't say it otherwise.
68.
I don't... Ooh, that's lovely. Merozoite.
Yeah, 100 points.
100, wow. But yeah, one time does the same job, seals the game. Also epitome and emotive, as Quackle points out. But yeah, another 9 for this game. We had Inhurst earlier, which was missed by Piotr, and now Merozoite, which is far more forgivable for not seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, who knows about their Merozoites? Oh wait, Piotr has Atlatls. Doesn't he?
Oh, he does, yes. But it doesn't fit.
Oh, the one time learning those double words come in handy, and it doesn't come in handy. So a Merozoite is a small amoeboid sporozoan trophozoite, as of a malaria parasite produced by Shizokoni, that is capable of initiating a new sexual or asexual cycle of development. That's a load of big words. I don't want to say that again.
No, it's quite a mouthful there.
Something biological. Let's just leave it at that.
Something biological, we'll leave it at that, yes. Piotr could play Azola through the ZO, which does open up a new 7 line, which will get blocked immediately, of course, but it does score well in itself.
At least he saw Atlatl, though.
Yes, did have it lined up.
And he knows that over Reshaven.
Yeah. He might try and open up a 9 timer, although can't really score anything.
Blocked.
Yeah, he could play like Lat or something and PO for 7, but won't stay there. May as well just play Azola, I guess.
Yeah, it's quite amazing to see how, a couple of missed bonuses really meant that Paul could capitalise, essentially.
Yeah,
ooh, Azola.
That's what I said, Azola.
Oh, okay. Distracted by looking things up. Like, he'll kick himself for Reshaven.
He will, absolutely.
He won't kick himself so much for Inhurst.
Yeah, it's harder to see. Particularly putting the N there, you'd think it'd be the S, if anything. But yeah, he's been severely punished for missing those things.
Isn't Inhurst like a relatively high probability 8-letter word, though?
It is, yeah. And it does sound like a verb, so given that it is. Paul, in the meantime, has drawn Binrruy, so he could play Berry under 1 time. The score.
Even though Paul would open up a 9 timer, it's not something to worry about. But being in that position is really tough anyway. Like
the tiles are actually quite pleasant unseen if you ignore the J and the V. There are possible 8s around the B, so you may turn that one down and play something else. You could play Bryony just to clog up the board through the air of 1 time. Or Bryony, which you've got lined up, but scores a little more.
Okay, so with the unseen Paul and putting the B there would be 12 potential 9-timers. And that's probably 12 too many for Paul.
I would imagine so, yes. How many of them double the B? Oh, he's playing Bryony.
Oh, you mean like have BB together?
Yes.
None of them.
None of them? Wow.
None of them.
Thought there'd be a couple at least.
Yeah, the first one alphabetically is baseball.
Oh, baseball, yeah.
There's also stuff like jailbait, database.
Yeah, jailbait would be a real killer. But Piotr's nowhere near any of those with he drew BLV to go with Salt. So it's been a pretty painful game for him. No bonuses, although he had chances to play them earlier on.
Mm-hmm. And now
I didn't see the afternoon games. Were there any misses in those?
I don't remember.
Right. I saw the first 4 games I was commentating, but I didn't see the ones after the couple after that.
I didn't see the one before dinner. I know you did.
Yeah,
I think the ones I saw were kind of split. I think Paul won the last 2 though before dinner. Piotr was up 5-1.
He was 5-1 when I got home. Yeah.
So maybe this is Paul's win streak that I was talking about him needing. You know, he's won three in a row, or he will win 3 in a row.
Yes. Yeah, he was. Yeah, 3-1 down, then 5-1, and it's going to be 5-4 very shortly.
Yeah, and he needed that win streak to try and get back in this match.
He's playing Val, just to dispose of the V and the L's.
Mm.
He's got an E, but he's drawn the J as well. So Paul has 150-point lead. He's drawn a rack of 5 vowels. I don't really care because the game's won.
Just play a word here, I guess. Any valid word.
Well, even a phony won't cost him the game. Play whatever.
Well, if he didn't play another move the rest of the game, I don't know, could Piotr score enough points if he puts the I, maybe making in of next to Bryony, and then maybe like a 60-point play, 70-point play there? Or is that not enough?
Even with that, he's too far behind.
Ah.
Sadly. You could play Zuiel off the ZO and the L. It's quite fun. Though he may struggle to go out next turn if he does do that.
Yeah, I can't see anywhere for Rudy after that.
It will draw one more tile, but yeah.
Oh, 5 tiles.
Be another A.
He's going to use up a lot of his brain power here, thinking out the best endgame. Are we going to sit here, bored? Maybe.
Well, I don't know how much time he's got left. We can't see the clocks, unfortunately. Probably has a few minutes left at least, but I don't think he'll prolong this. You'll know he has to conserve energy for... I assume there'll be at least one more game today.
I'm just checking ISC now because I was talking with All at Bullock, who's good friends with Piotr, and he said he stopped watching after Piotr missed reshaven because he knows that Piotr knows the word.
He knows it, right?
Yeah. And
well, he had it lined up,
so we know that he knows it, but you know, you in a kind of final situation, you don't want to play anything you don't really know because you know people are watching. I mean, even with me watching, people get. Don't worry, I laugh at myself half the time.
Paul's got Rue lined up. I don't know where that's going. Oh, Rube, right? Yeah, just take the triple. Stops
Jib.
Stops Jib with 2 Bs. Yeah.
And I can see it leaves radio as one place to go out.
Well, he's got another tile to draw in the bag.
Oh yeah.
This will be an A.
I keep forgetting that there are tiles in the bag. This is what I get for getting distracted by like everything.
So Piotr's got J and the S to score with. But academic, really. Playing Jest under Pinery for 30-odd points. Pretty reasonable. I don't think Paul can go out with his rack of 4 vowels and a D.
Yeah, we're looking for a G or an L, and I don't think those are happening.
Yeah, the G's in the wrong place, and Fledged Adagio doesn't quite fit next to it.
I think after the game we should just mute our mics and then just listen to what both players have to say about the interesting bonuses missed.
It'll probably be Piotr swearing for 5 minutes solid, I would think.
I mean, like sledging himself.
Yeah.
Or probably go out the room, break a couple of those plates we heard him clattering earlier.
Possibly.
He was loading the dishwasher, but it sounded more like he was abusing plates.
Paul plays Goad. Probably short of time. It does set up AI between Goad and Dolt. But yeah, just play anything at this point. I'm not sure Piotr has an outplay either. And he can't do a great deal with. We could play A-B next to Scopuli, I guess, for 20. Or Bit next to Bryony as he's thinking of playing. He's playing Vinyl.
14.
And Paul completes by playing AI. So that's a win by Paul by 140 odd points, and he's now only 5-4 down.